And I did mention we're going to lead from Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs are not playing this weekend. They are resting up. They've got the bye week because they were the number one overall seed. Number one in the AFC. And yet they have managed to make some headlines anyway. God bless them. Good for them. You might know where I'm going with this, but perhaps not. We have learned that multiple teams are interested in taking some pruners to the Andy Reid coaching tree, in particular the Jets. Jets, suck. The Jets have requested an interview with Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo for their head coaching gig. Spags spent time as the Giants defensive coordinator, and he was also the interim head coach there. And so he is discussing a possible return to Jersey. The Raiders, who have spoken to Bill Belichick, also said to have been interested in Steve Spagnuolo. So let us discuss the question. Long time. I say long time. It's been a minute. I think he took over in 2019. We're now in 2025. So that's 5+ years. That's a good run. So Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo going to interview for multiple NFL head coaching jobs. Multiple NFL head coaching jobs. Is Spagnuolo likely or unlikely to land one? I've got Poltergeist, Harpoon, and Costanza. And we will provide all of these. We'll put all these things together, and we're going to have a power breakfast. Now, normally you're not eating breakfast at this hour, but we're going to have a power breakfast. Why not? So first of all, to answer the question, the arrow is pointing in the wrong direction for Spags, right? We would be surprised if Steve Spagnuolo ends up getting a head coaching job. Here's why. Despite Kansas City being a wonderful defensive team, top 10 in the NFL, and at points this year, the defense carried the offense. But despite all of that, a good defensive team for years, a multiple-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, Spags is being haunted by what? He's being haunted by poltergeist, his past. You see, Steve Spagnuolo was a head coach. You probably don't remember it because there's not much to remember about the St. Louis Rams back in 2009 when Steve Spagnuolo took over and left the kind of stank, the kind of cooties on the Ram franchise that eventually led to the team moving to Los Angeles. They moved back to L.A. Spagnuolo was there for 3 seasons. He won 11 games and lost 41. 11-41. Wow. Now, the other Komodo dragon in the room, the Gila monster in the room, is that Steve Spagnuolo has been around a while. He's 65 years old. Now, those are not the ingredients. Generally speaking, those are not the ingredients that get you a head coaching job. They're not. And I would be very surprised if he actually ends up getting one of these gigs. He has said he wants another opportunity. I get it. It's a great job. It pays a little more money and all that. But to actually get the scaredy cat executives to hire a guy like that, because he's also a defensive guy, you know how it is. They prefer in the NFL offensive gurus. And some teams always hire defense or lean towards defense, like the Chicago Bears. But I haven't heard Spagnuolo mentioned with the Bears. Now, speaking of his current team, Kansas City. Page 2. Tight end and social media influencer Travis Kelce. All right, so Travis Kelce, on his fledgling podcast, attempted to shoot down a rumor that the Chiefs intentionally tanked the game against the Broncos in Week 18 because they didn't want to play Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the postseason. And Kelce, very upset, said, "Ain't scared of effing nobody," he said. Your thoughts as we parse the words. We parse the words of Travis Kelce. So Kelce, very defensive, even though he plays on offense, very defensive posture. That gave us pause. It gave us pause because he's talking tough, right? He's talking tough. He wants to take on the Broncos. He said in this little clip, "I'll take on the Broncos at Walmart, in the parking lot at Walmart and all that." Kelce said he wanted to go Mortal Kombat and slay every dragon one by one. Line them up. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Yeah. What have I told you? That Kansas City did go Mortal Kombat, did slay the dragon by losing to the Broncos, by losing in the fashion that they did. They avoid Joe Burrow having to play in the postseason. That is mission accomplished. You have just eliminated one of the real threats to the Kansas City dynasty, and you didn't even have to play them because you tanked the game against the team from Denver. They laid their arms down against the team in Colorado. And here's my evidence on that. The Broncos had almost 500 yards of offense in that game. They had 479 yards of offense in Week 18. And the Kansas City offense had less than 100 with Carson Wentz. You know how many first downs the Chiefs had? Of course you don't in that game. They had 5 first downs. 5. That's it. 5 the entire afternoon in Colorado. So if they were actually trying, because the way that Kelce's saying it, Travis Kelce's like, oh, yeah, we were out there trying. We wanted to win that game. We put the effort out there and all that. Well, if that's the case, you got a lot of issues, right? I mean, if you're actually trying, then Andy Reid's got much bigger problems. Much bigger problems. That was a very un-Andy Reid type performance by the team from Kansas City. All right, final thought. We now pivot to Dallas, where the football has been turned off for this year. There is no more NFL football for the Cowboys, but they stay in the news because the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy are said to be chit-chatting, having powwows every single day in constant communication, the reporting is, constant communication regarding the head coach's contract, which is set to expire next week. So we're hearing that Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys have not yet run their course. It has not run its course, and the story is that they have continued to have meetings and conversations. And what are we talking about, though? And what are they talking about, right? What are they talking about having all these meetings? Seriously. What is he being disposed? What was this, a criminal investigation? It's got to be mind-numbing. So in the cartoon bubble, which is over my head, just imagine, if you will, the cartoon bubble, which is over my head. In that cartoon bubble, McCarthy is using the George Costanza method of looking busy during the meeting. Right? He's sitting across a big, giant Texas-sized boardroom from Jerry Jones, and he's got this frustrated look on his face. He's squinting at his phone. He's shaking his head. He lets out an occasional sigh. Oh, man, this sucks. And he's got some random papers he's rifling through. Like, that's how I imagine Mike McCarthy in these meetings with Jerry Jones. Either that, or they're sitting around eating hoagies and thumb wrestling. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb roar. And I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Jerry. Thumb war. It's on. Thumb war. So the Cowboys under Mike McCarthy, tell me if any of this is incorrect. Under Mike McCarthy, the Dallas Cowboys have been undisciplined. They have been erratic. There have been sparks of goodness followed by mediocrity on a regular basis. Now, see, you've got that. Team does not perform well in high-leverage situations against better opponents. That is where execution is required, and it's going to lead to Mike McCarthy's execution. The easy move here for Jerry would be to get rid of McCarthy if he's causing any kind of problems, and you pivot away from McCarthy. Where do you go? Well, you could promote Mike Zimmer, as a head coach. You can go bring back Kellen Moore as a head coach, somebody that used to be in Dallas who knows Jerry Jones. Or the other option is just to keep the status quo and put McCarthy, roll him out there, and see what happens.